Experts have agreed for months that whoever the military backs will control the country. I spoke with Emanuele Ottolenghi for more perspective on political turmoil in Venezuela. He's a senior fellow at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies. Opposition leader and self-declared President Juan Guaido calling for a military uprising. The government is pushing back on this. They're calling it an attempted coup. What is your reaction to the latest developments?
Well, the government of Juan Guaido has tried, according to the Constitution, to assert its authority peacefully, to lead the country based on the tenets of the Venezuelan Constitution to a peaceful transition to new elections, asking for Maduro and his regime to step aside. That hasn't happened. And I think, we're now seeing a new escalation in this confrontation where Guaido and Leopoldo Lopez, another leader of the opposition to Maduro, who has been held confined by the Maduro regime for many years, now freed apparently by his own captors, calling on the Maduro regime to step aside. So clearly this is an escalation. We've seen violence on the street. We've seen unconfirmed images of Maduro regime vehicles running over protesters, tear gas shots, live images of people wounded on the street being taken away. So clearly there's a lot of confusion, there's violence, there's the potential for escalation, the possibility that the opposition, which until now has been pretty much working peacefully to try and remove the Maduro regime, may start getting access to weapons, especially if defectors from the Maduro military side with Guaido. So there is a potential for a lot more violence coming. And the question really is, and this is the bottom line, how much of the military is still supporting Guaido? How many of the top ranks are Maduro, and how many of the top ranks are still with Maduro, and how many and how much firepower they have? Of course, those who are willing to side with Guaido.
That seems to be the big issue, the control of the military. Up until now, it seemed like Maduro had the most support from the military. Juan Guaido appearing in this video kind of surrounded by some members of the military. From your vantage point, what does it look like to you? Where does the balance lay? Is it more towards Maduro or more towards Guaido with the military right now?
It's extremely difficult to tell based on the reports that one sees coming out of Venezuela based on social media. I don't think anyone really knows. I think that this effort still hangs in the balance. It is an indication that the basis for the Maduro regime to continue to control the country is eroding. If Guaido was able to get control of a military base, if Leopoldo Lopez managed to be released, all of those are worrying signs for the regime. The regime must still keep control, and of course they would have to seriously escalate. They would have to detain Lopez again and Guaido once and for all. That would of course bring not only international condemnation, but added pressure and potentially more isolation for Maduro. So it's going to be an interesting and obviously a very tense situation to watch.
There's another battle for power in Sudan. It deposed its dictator weeks ago, but people are still fighting for democracy.
Pushing through the crowd, thousands of protesters are packed tight, trying to catch a